Hello everybody, welcome back to Wappelville. We've got ourselves a Sauron miniature right here. And what we're going to be doing is giving him some treatment like what we did here with this guy. So we're going to do that whole, hey there Armored Wolf. We're going to be doing that whole, Last Alliance thing and stuff. Well, you kind of need a Sauron. We're also going to be doing a whole entire Barad-dûr army, so we'll be doing the whole lava type thing. So something like what we've got right here. Now this is actually, believe it or not, this is a 3D print that I found. I believe somebody may or may not have scanned the miniature and then turned it into a print. I don't remember who that was, but it is exactly the same size and scale as the regular one. Now here's the Isildur and Elendil. Pre-Glaze is going to be mostly, again, you'll be totally shocked. Hey there, Blades and Bithron. Nice to see both of you. Totally surprised. Indigo Van Dyke Brown here. Maybe some brown matter and some of our Knapsack red down here. And then some fiery glowy stuff, right? Because reasons, right? So Blades, everybody please give Blades a follow if you haven't already done so. Let me just I'm going to grab this thing here. This is a little strand of hot glue right here that I just want to get rid of. There we go. Crazy hot glue, man. It's like little strings all over the place. So Blades, great to see you again. We are going to keep this as simple as possible. Again, mostly indigo. Come on, there we go. There's some indigo. Van Dyke Brown. Looks like we need some more Van Dyke Brown out here. Oh, what the heck. We'll just use the Gamlin stuff. Why not? We'll just use that. Thought I had some out there. I guess we must have used a whole bunch of it last night. So Crazy Wolf, great to see you again. Of course, Paint Liquor. I hope that, well, I know you had your new setup and everything that you were trying to work on. Actually getting to do some painting there. And Blades, I hope that you've been having yourself a decent weekend. And actually, when does the cone of shame actually come off? Bithron, glad you were able to pick up all those miniatures. I know you've been waiting a while for those. It's got to feel really good to just kind of have them just in your hands, right? You've been thinking about it for so long. Thanks, Blades. It's weird. It's as I got caught by a little surprise by a coughing spasm earlier today. Then I'd actually kind of injured my like a rib muscle or something a few weeks ago, and that sort of tweaked it again. Let's put it that way. What's hilarious is that I'm not actually even looking at the miniature as I do this. I'm just looking at the chatter, trying to make sure I'm not missing anything. So that just speaks to the precision of the brush strokes here, right? I mean, do you see this kind of precision brushwork anywhere else? Seriously, do you? Heck no. Heck no. You don't see, look at that fine brush right there. Yeah, you don't see quality stuff like this on just any channel. Yeah, no time for bull. This is like a D100 adventure chart, except everything it comes up once. Yeah, there's 100 different adventures, and you're just gonna keep re-rolling the same adventure over and over again, even though you're using 100-sided dice. But it doesn't matter because all the adventures are exactly the same thing. Some form of weird, that's for sure. So this is definitely one of the one true brushes right here. Or you could say what's left of one of the one true brushes. Now let me see if I can find, is this my brown matter right here? Yeah, that's, we do actually have a new tube of this here. Yeah, Bithron, you want to have to wait for OGs for custom bases? Holy smokes. That's for sure. Alright, here's that brown matter plus whatever the heck else is in this brush. Oh, that's right. This is sort of... Whoops, that was a little more than we wanted. Oh, what the heck. We'll throw some red in with that. Whatever. Again, precision. Precision is just vital here. Right? I mean, look at this. I mean, if we don't follow everything totally precisely here, just who knows what could happen. Marker Bees, how you doing? A little bit of pre-glaze there for the doji. Actually, blades, if you were to listen, check out any of the tutorial videos, that would be about every 5 minutes. Yeah, well, actually, Blades, I think you're familiar with the expression, whenever you hear this on one of the tutorial videos, well, that didn't go quite the way it was supposed to. That means holy, bleepity bleepity bleep. That's what it's code for. So yeah, when you hear something like, that didn't quite go the way it was supposed to, that is actually an expletive laced tirade, as the English might say. All right, here we go. There we are. All right, what the heck? We'll just throw some down here because, again, it's all about the precision, right? Look at this. Look at this here. Man. Like I said, you don't just get that anywhere. Now, some of these. So yeah, Blades, that was something. I remember, it was a couple of months ago, I told people that, yeah, when you hear, actually, what was, it was the waterfall on that one base, and yeah, things were not going the way they were supposed to. And again, you listen to that video, and when you know what the code words are, you'll be able to understand that, yeah, that was actually me just kind of unleashing a tirade of choice metaphors right there. Having painted this at least twice, having to assemble this, well, the old metal miniature twice. Let me see. This was the head. It was this part of his arm, the shoulder, the body, and this arm, and that was it. The metal figure, each of these individual stupid things has to be glued on separately because, of course, now that would be the 20-some-odd-year-old Sauron metal miniature. And of course, I think now you can only get it in fail cast, right? So there will be object source lighting here because he's going to be obviously just kind of like what we've been doing with our War of the Last Alliance here. So yes, we'll be doing some of that. So Maker Bees, yeah, we would like to have a little bit more variety in those adventure roles, but they all tend to be the same thing. Not sure why. Now again, we're not looking to wipe out all of this stuff. This was just light gray primer. We've used staining colors. Guess what? We got ourselves some staining here. You know, even this is 3 or 4 pieces, if I remember right, the old metal miniature. Holy smokes. Doji, hopefully the bakery trip was very, very tasty today, and hopefully you guys had fun yesterday. I know you had to head out to, to do a day trip yesterday. Hopefully that was a blast. We're just about there. Just about there. Look at that. Okay. Again, super complicated, right? Guess what? This here looked about the same at this stage. It's like, dude, man, it's a nice mace you got there. It's like, are those your dwarf friends? He's like, well, they used to be, but they decided to cheat at cards, and you know how it goes. When people cheat at cards, you can't handle that. Again, it's super complicated, right? Thank you so much for the clip there, Bitsron. That's a little bit of a different clip there, right? Bithron, there's sometimes, as I do one of those things, I wonder what is Bithron going to give this as a title? There's times where I almost wish I could just look back at it very quickly and just see what title you gave it. Because sometimes it's pretty straightforward, and then there's other times where it's, wow, that was pretty nuts. What the hell? What can Bithron do as a title for this piece of insanity here? Alright, there's our... Oh, look, there's starting to get the orange in there. Oh, wait. Wait, what's happening here? Look, we're going to get some of our orange over there, too. However, we have to come back over here. We got to grab some of the red, some of the orange, blah, blah, blah. Here we go. Like this. Like this. M-Tellies, how you doing? Everybody please give M-Tellies a follow as well. So again, you got to give Blades a follow. You got to give M-Tellies a follow. Oh, you know, remember we painted Sauron, one of our 2D paintings, wasn't it? Yeah, we did Sauron, and there was lots of wild glowy stuff on the mace and everything. What the heck? Alright, I won't do that here too. Do that here, a little bit here, whatever. Oh, let me get to my references here. A huge surprise. Everything that's facing towards our off-camera, sort of off-camera lava light source, well, that's getting some orange, and everything else is going to be cooler, grayer colors. We got ourselves some metal over here too, so let's do some of that. No problem there, Blades. No problem. Again, sorry that I haven't been able to hang out in the streams themselves. Pretty much things that happen in the daytime and evening, those are sort of out of my realm of being able to do things. So I apologize about that. Alright, now we've got, again, some of the darker oranges in place. Why don't we find ourselves a smaller filbert brush like this. Maker bees, until the situation with Kathy has stabilized, I just basically can't do any commission stuff. So that's unfortunately until things start to get normalized there. Basically I haven't done any commission stuff at all since, well, last April, when all of this interesting stuff started. So hopefully at some point that will rectify itself and we'll be able to go back to some level of normalcy. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Yeah, let's keep going with this. Same over here again. Look at, see all that darker color getting on the brush? Look where my hand is on this brush. Nowhere near this, right? This is, well, not even going to reach the miniature, but that's not going to be a super effective, very soft dry brush approach, is it? Not so much. So we need to delicate touch on that brush. I think I might have to print up another one of these, because I want to do a painted backdrop. Remember, we wanted to do a painted backdrop Sauron figure at some point. Boy, I only ever got to play golf one time. I would love to play some golf. I mean, love me some golf. That would be fantastic. Never forget, it was like some public golf course, and of course you go to the really short hole, the one where it's just the pond, and the green's on the other side of the pond. It's probably a par 3 or something like that. And I just thought, well, I don't want the ball to end up in the water, so I better use a club that's going to hit that ball further. And I used a 1-iron, I think. And it was the one time that I hit the ball very solidly with that 1-iron. And the ball proceeded to go over the pond, over the green, over the highway, over a couple of farm fields. I think it went into the next county. That wasn't exactly, again, that's one of those things where, oh, that didn't go quite the way it was supposed to. Yeah, that's my one golf story right there. So marker bees, unfortunately, Kathy, she has a major health crisis that started basically around this time a year ago, and until that stabilizes, there's unfortunately no way to do commission stuff, because you heard the story about the random adventure chart there. We never really know what we're facing one day to the next. Just like this stream was originally supposed to start somewhere probably around 8 o'clock, and it started, what, about 11:30? So that's kind of prototypical right there. Now, we're going to be coming back with our orangey stuff, don't worry. And this is nowhere near white or anything like that. We're just trying to get figured out here, where should ambient light be, where should the glowy stuff be, and that's the same thing. Remember, we did a whole slew of these, right? A whole slew of these, and the same kind of thing that you see here. Again, to see all of the orange, the warmer saturated color, and all the cooler desaturated colors. Guess what? Same thing is going to happen on our Sauron here. Hey there, Megan. Hey, Flying Ryan. Nice to see you. Everybody, please give Megan Paints a follow. So, Megan, how you doing? That miniature, well, more of a bust, that was a really nifty skin tone. Actually, it's funny, Megan, that Kira Kalila bust that I was just showing, that was the last time I had a chance to do a skin tone anywhere near that sort of fun color that you had on yours. So I don't know if you got that posted to Instagram there, Megan, but if you wanted to share that, or whatever, right, feel free to go ahead. Now, that's actually metal right there. I forgot cloaks right here. So, Van Dyke Brown. Van Dyke Brown, where's my brilliant yellow pale? Because that's got a little bit of warmth to it now. See, that's, look at, still mixing with that darker pre-glaze right there. Yeah, let's do some more here. So everybody, please check out Flying Ryan's link, and then again, give Flying Ryan some feedbacks. Ooh, you know, see, we're not gonna go with that here because look at the direction that would go. You know what? I might just steal a little tiny bit of that here. Not as much out here. I think this is where we should have it. Down here. Alrighty, put this off to the side, and let's start to maybe work on some basically brighter areas of our object source lighting. Now, these again are the homemade fluorescent oils that I made for myself. I don't know how much more of the orange I want on that. That's cloth, so I'm gonna move along here to where there's some more metal, like so, because that's going to pick up some glinty, just hints of the fiery stuff from below. And I think, let's grab some of this. I'm gonna need at least a little bit of the radiant yellow in there just to give that a little more opacity, and there we go. So you can see we're kind of following this little chain of the orangey highlights here. Oh yeah, this is metal over here too. Very little paint on the brush. Also, look where my hand is. None of this stuff. First of all, it's a lot easier to paint a miniature when the brush actually touches it. Huge surprise, I know. Also, you need a really light touch with the brush if you're going to be effective with the oil paints. I know people say, well, every time I touch the miniature, the paint gets wiped off, and that's when you see them. They're holding the brush like this, like they're trying to use a chisel or something. And like, where's the hammer? Where's the hammer that goes with that chisel? So you want yourself a nice, easy, relaxed grip on that brush. No death grip. All death grip is going to do is, give you arthritis, pretty much. All kidding aside, a few folks, they've talked about kind of changing over their grip to something a little bit more relaxed, and they said, holy smokes, my hand doesn't quite hurt after a painting session, or I don't feel quite so tired. Again, because you weren't trying to snap the brush in half with your hand. Believe me, it'll take a lot out of you over the course of time. So you can see we got this nice little chain of lights here. And we're going to make sure we continue something like that on this side. It's a big old long cylinder, so it should probably do that. Yeah, blades, it's amazing the kind of control. Look where my hand is here. Yet, do you see that brush shaking and bopping around and moving all over the place? No, it's going exactly where we need it to. I like to say you get yourself plenty more leverage this way. You're actually getting yourself some leverage. You actually have more control over the brush this way than when you're doing this. It can be a little bit difficult at first. It's like anything else, you gotta get used to it. Might take a little while to get used to, but once you do, you'll be kind of glad. Again here, I can go lighter than this, but for now I'm gonna stick with maybe about that amount there. Blades, I think I told you the story. I was trying to use chopsticks. I was determined to be able to use chopsticks, and Armored Wolf said, hold them like your stupid paintbrush. Don't have a death grip on the chopsticks. You'll get more food in your face if you hold them like your brushes. And sure enough, Armored Wolf was correct. Yes, that was that wasn't the last time we were at the Korean barbecue. It was one of the last times we were at the Korean barbecue. Now, Alexia, now of course, again, at our art school, that was enforced somewhat more punitively. Seriously, if they caught you doing this, they just took the brush out of your hand. They gave you fair warning, but if you continued to have the hand on the ferrule, that meant you were not going to have a brush in your hand. So yeah, blades, wasn't able to use the chopsticks, and then I was determined to try, and I mean it was comical, but it was working, and that's when Armored Wolf said, look, just hold them like the brush, relax, no death grip on the chopsticks, you will be able to eat more. And sure enough, it worked. Oh, let's get ourselves some more orange out here. Same thing down here. Also, there is the ring here. We're gonna have to. Well, again, we'll be going back into that with our darks to really set some hard edges there. Right now, all we're trying to do is just find ourselves some areas where that orange should go. That's all we're looking to do here. You know what? We should probably get a little bit there. That's a little bit too much of the orange. We need some red. There we are. Now sometimes we have to add a little more thinner to it, because thin again sticks over thick and vice versa. But sometimes thin paint could mean dry brush. Doesn't always mean pin line wash or anything like that. And again, pin line wash, we painted plenty of vehicles on the channel here. There's plenty of pin line washes on this. This is all painted with oils, 100% start to finish, just like what we're doing now. Same brushes, same everything. Slightly different subject, but all the same ideas. Just like that cave drake that we did last night. You can bet. Now, of course, that was even bigger than this, so we had more areas where we could kind of go, all right, here, let's leave this area alone. Let's go over here. Let's work on this area. See, I almost started putting some orangey stuff up there. It's like, wait a minute, where would that be coming from? And basically, this is as far, this is the farthest it's going to go. Now, we'll be probably going back into that, maybe hitting it with some of our, well, probably Van Dyke Brown to give it more of an ashen look. But we're just trying to, again, make sure we have some lighter stuff here so that when we really hit this with our lightest lights, right, then we've got something. Now, let me take brown matter, some of this here red, and we'll do something maybe like this. And then we'll be able to, again, come back in there with some really light stuff too. Let's hit this as well. Maybe a little darker. Why not? Van Dyke Brown. Maybe even a little Mars Black. Something like this, maybe. Alright. Inganes, how you doing? Well, it's we're only an hour in Inganes, so didn't miss everything. We were able to, hopefully able to catch some of the middle. Now, of course, this ain't no kobold right here. It's a little bit bigger than a kobold, but this is what we painted last night on stream. Again, this was a 5-hour stream here, start to finish. All the same principles. What we're doing here with our Sauron figure. Now, what we're going to do is, we were talking about some of those darks, right? Let's get to some indigo here and Van Dyke Brown. Mixing the two of them. Remember, that's going to give us essentially a nice black color there, but it has a little tint of something. It's either going to be tinted more towards the blue or more towards the brown. So here, let's start to bring in some darks again, and then we're going to come in with, because we got to start leaving the orangey stuff set for a bit. We're going to get into our lighter non-object source thick colors. Thanks, Inganis. Appreciate that. So, Inganis, hopefully you saw the post there with the new video, the latest tutorial. Can I? She's a little bit too far away to reach that. From CA Sculpts. That was quite the sculpt there, have to say. I guess we'll try and throw some darks in. You know what? We need to do that here as well. A little bit more of that Van Dyke Brown too. Here, let's. Okay, we're trying to reinforce a couple of edges here. When in doubt, make things darker. Then when you come back with your highlights and such, then you really have something. Because without, you can make things as light as you want. There's no darks next to it. Good luck. You're not going to get yourself much shape at all. We could, maybe we should do the glowing eyes for Sauron too. Just realize that. Just realize that. No big deal. No problem. We can do that too. We made a bunch of changes on the cave drake. Remember, we changed the color of some of the floor tile. Yeah, we actually went from stuff that had some fiery light on it to actually getting rid of that. And just looking to break this up. And here's obviously the ring right there. We want to make sure that stands out. No, we definitely need some darks over here too. Better get some separation on these fingers. Now, this is not going to have quite the detail that a normal 3D print would because, well, essentially, pretty sure they must have just scanned the original miniature and then made a STL file out of it. but I needed something that was the GW version. I actually have one of the old metal ones here, but I have no time to prep that. Again, because the helmet, each of these is, you have to glue those in separately. Even this mace, there's at least 3 parts to the mace. So there's just no time for that kind of assembly here anymore. So that's why I just went ahead and printed this up, since it's going to have about the same amount of detail anyways. Here, let me get the dark back in there. Again, this is more of the Van Dyke brown here. I mean, if you feel the need to put texture on this, we've certainly done textured cloth a bunch of times. We've done it on our Sauron figure, we did it, or Sauron, and we did it on our Gandalf even. As even he had some texture on that cloth there. Oh, what do we got here? Yeah, we need some more dark down here too. And then in a bit, we'll come back and I'll come back in here now and mostly use things like a radiant blue, radiant violet. Might need to put some more radiant violet out here. Yeah, we're gonna do that. So this is another one of those things where only certain brands make certain things. Only Gamblin makes this line of radiant colors, which there's some kind of pixie dust in them. We don't know what the heck exactly it is, but there's some sort of pixie dust in there. Because they actually, they dry basically faster than they should. I mean, there's no alkyds in them. We looked, believe me. I looked at the label. We even had a person who can basically walk into the Gamblin headquarters and said, hey, is there alkyds in those radiant colors? And they said, we could tell you, but you'll never leave the facility. So yeah, we still are not sure what it is in the Gamblin radiant colors that it just makes them so nifty. We just know that they're nifty, that's all. Now, of course, Marker Bees suggested it's kind of like Soylent Green. It's people, but in that case it's pixies. So radiant colors are just made of pixies. So instead of pixie dust, which that's a normal pigment, but maybe that's what makes them extra special. Instead of just pixie dust, it's actual pixies in there. So that contributes to a much higher level of, well, whatever having pixie infused paint does. Again, but we're still not exactly sure even how the pixie infusion works. Okay. No problem, maker. No problemo. Again, that's the radiant blue, but remember it's mixing with the indigo. I mean, you can see that darker color on the end of the brush there. These are the things you've got to consider again with the oil paints as opposed to working with the acrylics, right? You're well, ask not what you can do for the oils, but what the oils can do for you. Right, and here again, we're just going to let those do their own mixing there. All right, here we go. Blending brush time. We'll use this. Blending brush time. So this one panel right here, we're going to take the color that exists there. See how we just made a nice, soft, smooth. Actually, here, can I zoom in one more? No, I'm zoomed in as much as I can. Oh well. But we'll do. Here's another one. So this is another thing you can do is just chuck some paint on there, grab this here blending brush, and then just start pushing that paint around. Just do something like that. That's what the oils are designed for. You don't see a whole lot of mixing here. This is we've been using this palette for 6+ hours now. Painted a whole cave drake plus this. We're not mixing a lot of colors. You don't need to mix a whole bunch of colors on the palette because you can do this here. Alright, we just chuck that little bit of light green right there. We'll take our, here, we'll do a little bit more. We'll throw some of that here. Take our blending brush again. A little bit of tap, tap, tap there. Soften that edge. Now, maker, again, well, Dick Blick is not a bad place to get them. Now, of course, the Williamsburg paints. That's one of the other differences between Williamsburg, say, and the Gamblin and the Winsor Newton. So Winsor Newton and Gamblin, they both have starter sets. Those are student grade colors. So you have Winton and you have Gamblin 1980. Now, let me see if I can find that. There's one. There you go. So Williamsburg also has starter sets. They're not going to be cheap like the other ones are. But this is the same paint as in a 37 mil tube. This is a small tube, like a 17 mil or something like that. But the paint that's in here is the exact same quality as what would be in the regular tubes that are 37 mil. So you're getting the same stuff there. What you want to do is maybe wait till Dick Blick has those on sale, because everything's on sale on Dick Blick at some point. So now I never get anything at full price on Dick Blick. Just give it a while. Every so often, those kind of starter sets go on sale, and that is a way you can pick up colors like, say, Egyptian Violet and some of the more pricey ones without having to necessarily shell out a full price for them. Now, is this, yeah, this is all metal here. Need to get something that's not the orange. Again, that's just a radiant blue there. That is not white, so we can still go lighter than that. We haven't touched any white whatsoever here. Absolutely zero white paint used on this thus far. And I'm going to stay that way for a while. Guys, well, as soon as you've jumped into something like white, well, then you've gone as light as you're going to be able to go. And you've sort of painted yourself into a wee bit of a corner. So that's why we're using these paints that are not white. They're light, but they are most certainly not white. They have a little bit of color to them. This has, that, again, that tint of blue to it. Now, of course, we are hoping that we'll get to do our Armada Monday. And we'll be painting up some more of the Trident Realms fleet. This is what we painted last Monday. This was a blast. Also painted with the oils. So again, whether it's a large scale figure, regular figure, or something small scale like this, oils, doesn't matter. Can do all of it. And it makes it nice and easy as well. I mean, that's the great thing. It also makes it nice and easy. Things go quickly. You also have the increased chroma and saturation of the colors. You also have the durability boosts, again, from the oil paints. Now, if you something like maybe phthalo green can sometimes dry on the shinier side. That's where's our Army Painter Anti-Shine. This is the same stuff I would brush on an acrylic piece. You just wait for the oils to dry. Brush this on very very lightly. You want to brush that on very lightly. And as Grand Oracle can attest, they do great for historical stuff. Hey, Grand Oracle, if you wanted to share any of your historical stuff there, obviously it doesn't have to be painted with oils, but if you have some oil painted historicals you want to share, well, that, you know, that's fantastic, right, for people to see examples. So yes, indeed, should you wish to share, go right on ahead. Now, I did print out, what was it, a French D2. Basically, I mean, sort of a poor man's Samwa, or somewhat tank. Even has it even has a tank commander with it. I'm trying to work my way very slowly. I mean, I wish I could just do it all at once, but I'm trying to work my way slowly through those fantastic early war French STO files. So see that? See how that's we got our orangey stuff here, and now you're getting more of an ambient light right there. And you can still go lighter. We have not used our lightest colors yet. Trying to keep those particular arrows in the quiver. I think we'll be coming back. We'll be doing some more darks in places too, where needed. Hey there, Sarge. Thank you so much. We're gonna let them little shamrocks rock their way around here in our honey-infused lemon ginger tea, because we're still utilizing that. I think we're gonna have to utilize that for some time to come, as we try and get the voice to recover fully here. Alrighty. See, I was working on the photos of that halfling harvester, and then I was going to try and make a little shortened YouTube video out of the Twitch session, and then I realized my voice was completely shot during that one, because it was bad enough in this one. The voice was just barely usable here. So this is actually on the YouTube channel right now, a somewhat shortened version of that Twitch session. So everybody, please check out the link that Grand Oracle just posted. So Sarge, if you wanted to post your, I know you've been working on so many bases and basic dioramas as well. I want to share some of those there in the chat. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, Sarge, you know, after painting all of the Last Alliance stuff, and again, I gotta actually find the stupid elves and get those prepped up too, so that we can get those guys going. And then we'll have to have some fun, some kind of fun special campaign there. Oh, that's right. I gotta get the that one Great Beast of Golgoroth. I was gonna do a basing video on that one too. Don't know if we're going to be able to use tree bark on that. We might actually have to use Daz air dry clay pressed into the rock molds. Mostly because I'm already starting to run out of my tree bark. Hey Pascal, how you doing? Everybody please give Pascal rules a follow. And Pascal, of course, go ahead and post, well actually, speaking of Last Alliance, definitely post your L run in the chat, but I know that you've been working on some new stuff. You got that, oh, was that the dwarf, was the bust that you were working on, right? I've seen that on the Instagrams there. But everybody please give Pascal a follow. And of course, yeah, Pascal, definitely share your Elrond in the chat. It's very appropriate, right? Given what we're painting here, that's super appropriate. So it was a dwarf. Okay, I just didn't want to lose track of that. And Megan, of course, if you wanted to share your link tree again, we have more folks in the chat here. So again, if you want to share that, again, everybody please give Blades a follow, give Pascal a follow, give Megan Paints a follow. Now this all is metal. Also not going to get any of the orangey glow, right? Because again, it's light coming down like this. So there's the dwarf bust there, and there's the Elrond, and there's Megan's link tree. So yeah, Megan, that last piece that you showed me there, I really enjoyed that skin tone. Always kind of envious when people get to do kind of fun, new, different skin tones like that. So Megan, you know, I found out rather cruelly right before I started the stream that tonight is also the stupid daylight savings thing. So, well, let's see, it's 1:02. Actually, did I already lose that hour? Yeah, I'm like, wait, how did it get to be 1:02 a.m.? So I already lost an hour. Yeah, because this stream is only an hour long, and I started at 11:30. So, yeah, that was the other cruel thing, was to go, oh, yeah, tonight you're also losing an hour of sleep tonight. So for For everybody out there, I mean, I don't want to tell you, don't watch the stream here, but be aware you're losing an hour of sleep. Unless you're in a place that's reasonable and doesn't do the stupid daylight savings time thing anymore, in which case you're all good. You can watch for the next 20 hours. Who needs sleep? Now again, we see we got some of our cooler light going along right there. So that was not a really fun thing to go, wait a minute, I thought that was a couple of weeks from now. I thought that was going to be more like on the 21st. Like on an equinox of some kind. But no. Ain't how that's going to work. So Sarge, hopefully you are enjoying your days of... I know that hasn't quite been the days of hobbying that you thought it was going to be originally. With the new work table, and that was delayed. Oh well. Boy, sorry about that, Sarge. I really do understand that frustration of trying to engineer a new work area, and pretty much everything plies against that. So yeah, we've already been a victim here of daylight savings time, because I'm like, wow, 104. Apparently I've been painting slower than I thought, because I'm like, either that or I painted so fast I altered time itself. See, that's what the oils can do. The oils can actually alter time. Usually they alter time in your favor, though. This is less favorable. But then oil paints don't need to sleep, so maybe that's why. Bithron, I'm actually very jealous of that. I'm not kidding about that. As a person who has basically stepped on and broken half the things in this room, I really wish I could just do something like that. Well, and also lost everything, not once, not twice, but multiple times. There's things I actually would have been probably painting on stream this week, but I can't even find them. They're in this room, for sure. Can't find them, though. Oh, you know what? Let's add some more of our light stuff here. So again, for all you young players out there, don't forget about the stupid daylight savings time. Holy smokes! All right, let's maybe we will first. Maybe we will give him the whole glowing eye thing. What the heck? I don't know. Let's do this. Yellow in with that. Don't want too much thinner in this, otherwise it'll just become a pinline wash. We certainly don't want that. We're just going to chuck that in there. And then we'll work some of the light around that, or some of the dark around that to cut down on it. So actually, Pascal, now what is, are there more big projects on the way for you there? But you need to adjust the paint shelf, or adjust the shelf and a paint rack. And one thing, yes, what would you call that? That is the slippery slope of studio reworking. So I'm taking that darker, we're just cutting away some of the orange there. Do the same on this side. Like so. What do we want to do here? Yeah, okay, here, let's take some of the, maybe even a little of the brilliant yellow pale, some of our fast matte white here, which again is a heck of a lot lighter than what we were using. You thought what we were using was light. It sort of pales in comparison to this. I did just throw some thinner on top of this little batch of the fast matte white, because this does have alkyds in it. So you sort of almost need to break that paint down a little bit. And that's what the idea is, with that little bit of thinner being tossed in there. Still trying to finish one more Golden Demon entry. Boy, you know, Pascal, I really wish that BCC would kind of go the route of CA sculpts and have, you know, you can get the STL file or you can get the physical sculpt. I mean, if they want to charge the same amount for an STL file as the full-on sculpt, I mean, all right, fine, I don't care. If that makes it viable for them, you know, that'd be fine. Because I don't have time to assemble things, and of course the time it would take just for the raw pieces to arrive here. Because I'd love to paint some of I know they just put out another new bust or something like that today, I guess, or yesterday. I got an email about that. Hey there, surface tension painting. How you doing? So surface tension painting, nice to see ya. So it takes an hour and a half, 11:30. Well, no, actually, I guess it is just 1 o'clock. No, we haven't had our daylight savings time kick in just yet. Let's get a little bit more of our lightest light back here. Right down this little chain of lights. Yeah, surface tension. I just thought it's been a long, long time since I had a chance to actually paint one of these. Oh my gosh, at least 6, 7 years, at least, maybe even longer. So it's kind of fun to be able to do this. Surface tension, if you want to also pop some links to some of your painted stuff there in the chat, that'd be fabulous. So see, Arta Michael says that it kicked in over there. Ay, man, I'm telling you, that was a cruel thing. Right before the stream, I went, you gots to be kidding me. Holy smokes. And so that's how the universe wants to play it. Alright, that's fine. You win this round, but we'll get our revenge somehow. Hey, Thranual. Yeah, Thranual, I know that's the other thing that's really confusing. Because now I basically have no idea what time it is in Europe. Because some parts do it a week before, some parts, I think Australia, right? Don't they? They're like way later than everybody else with their daylight savings time. And of course, Australia has half-hour time zones too. So that's not confusing enough. There's also half-hour time zones, and I do believe their DST kicks in at a different point. So everybody, please check out the Mastodon link there from Surface Tension. So Thranual, hopefully things haven't been too stressful there. I know there was a wee bit of a surprise a week and a half ago or so. I mean, it wasn't a super shock to you. You kind of saw the tea leaves there, but still, when that actually happens, that's always that's a bit jarring to say the least. Now here we're again trying to throw a couple of more lights in it. Then we'll be coming back with the heavy-duty darks one more time. Look at this. Look at this. There's a wild Kathy in the chat. So now, at least Kathy now can know that it's daylight savings time, and to expect a little bit of things to be light at not the same time anymore. Yeah, so I was reminded of that right before I started streaming, that it's that time of year. So again, everybody say hello to Kathy. She's right there in the chat. You know what? Here, the heck with this. I'm going to get me some of that light in there. Like so. We need some mid-tone over here. What about this? What about this? We're going to grab the indigo. Going to grab the Gambling Radiant Blue. Maybe that's even too light there. And there's a Lethal Shadows. There's a Lethal Shadows in the chat too. Everybody, please give Lethal Shadows Gaming a follow. Now, speaking of 3D printing, oh, well, here, what the heck? Oh my goodness, can I even reach this thing? All right, here it is. So, this was the Drax had this thing printed out even larger than this by Lethal Shadows Gaming. I printed this out myself, but if you cannot print out something like this, Lethal Shadows, that's where you can go to have something nifty printed out like this. This was my latest video on the Patreon page. It's a 3-part series. It takes you through the whole process of assembly, painting, even down to the marble effects that we did on the tiles there. Again, so everybody, please say hi to Kathy, and also give lots of loves there to Lethal Shadows Gaming. And Lethal Shadows is getting ready for PAX Unplugged, right, Lethal Shadows? So if you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, Lethal Shadows can give you booth numbers and all that kind of stuff, so that you can go there and have dozens of 3D prints made. And then you can go home and you'll have plenty of stuff to paint after the convention. So that is PAX East in Boston. And for everybody that's going to be there, Lethal Shadows is also going to be there. So the one that Drax got was almost 5 pounds. I want to say that was about... Well, I could put it on a scale. Yeah, actually, Lethal Shadows, I'll try to remember to put that on a scale. I would guess that's about 2 pounds of resin, maybe 2¼ pounds, something like that. We had hamburgers today, so I'm just thinking of meat. And as soon as I start talking about weights, I start thinking about meat. So they're bringing about 150 different sculpts for purchase right there at the show. And of course, Lethal Shadows does have their own line of miniatures. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. But again, everybody, if you want to just do a little bit of chatting with the Kathy there, she's in the chat. Go ahead, do that. Oh, you know what? Yeah, know what? We're going to do this. That's our indigo and blue mix. Then our cloak over here. We have to start getting some warmer grays into that. You know what? You see, we got a lot of red up there. That probably shouldn't be catching that much red. What we're going to do here is shift that away from the red, more towards the blue. Maybe even here, again, a little bit more towards the blue. Well, we wanted to do the general details right, and now we're kind of getting into the more targeted stuff. More of the indigo mixed again with the radiant blue. That is going to require some darker. That's going to be indigo and our Van Dyke brown mixed up again here. We need to really sharpen up a whole bunch of areas here. That there we go. Nice little dark line going out this way. We got way too much of our lighter color in here. Get rid of some of that. What about up here? We're pretty solid there. Now we were talking about getting some of this dark up here. Start to tighten up some of these edges. Send this crazy, this crazy mace here. Well, Sarge, you have yourself a good night's sleep. Well, what's left of it? Again, just a reminder for folks, it's the whole daylight savings thing, so just be aware. Be aware of the time change. So, Sarge, again, I hope that you can get yourself some sleep. So, I'm guessing that, yeah, a whole lot of folks are sort of like, wait a minute, what? You gotta be kidding me. Sort of like how Armored Wolf and I were earlier tonight. And I said right before I started the stream, I went, hey, guess what? Look what I just discovered. Look what we got to look forward to tonight. Is that okay? I have to go back there with the light on that now. What about these things here? That's also gonna have to be dark because any sort of lighting from down here, that's just gonna be blocked. No way it's going to reach there. Again, the cloak here, we could do textured cloth on that, but I mean, really, you can barely see the texture on my arm here, and I'm 1-to-1 scale. This here, not 1-to-1 scale. So it's just, I know everybody loves the texture on cloth and stuff like that, and that's cool. Just kind of keep in mind that you're putting texture on something where it's not super likely you would normally see something like that. Now, I know it looks nifty. We've done it here. Like I said, we've done it on the channel here. I've done tutorial videos with the textured cloth and fur texture on horsies. We've done that tons of time. I mean, this is the cavalry channel after all. Maybe, alright. I wasn't thinking about that originally, but I think we will try to no. Try and darken this edge, not the other edge. Oh yeah, that's Truth Manual. Yeah, alright, we're gonna try and sharpen up that edge to that. It's almost like it needs a bit of a shadow, right? Because again, the light's coming from this way, it would sort of cast a shadow going in the opposite direction, wouldn't it? Also have to think about some of our super light stuff down there. You know what, here, I'm just going to clean out this brush. And again, just using that Winsor Newton brush cleaner, that's all. Alrighty. Oh, I guess we'll just use some brilliant yellow pale with this. Guess some of our orange there. There's my fluorescent yellow. I'm pretty sure this is this is definitely the lightest of the orangey yellow color that I've done so far. So we'll just have this kind of sort of sneak its way through some parts of that. Do the same here. Yeah, not a ton of it. Not a ton of it, just a little bit here and there. I do believe I see a wild Eridican wife. Eridican, how you doing? Everybody please give Eridican wife a follow. Thanks for the raid. Now, Erid, actually, Kathy's in the chat right now if you just want to say a quick hello. So, probably be trying to get back to sleep pretty darn soon, but if you want to say hello to Kathy, she's right there in the chat. So, thanks so much for the raid. We are continuing our quest for all things Barad-dûr, Mordor, War of the Last Alliance here as we paint a Sauron miniature. Yes, that is the Dark Lord himself. That's to go along with the War of the Last Alliance armies that we've been painting. This is the Númenóreans. We'll be painting the elves as well. But we're also going to be, well, we need a Barad-dûr army, right? Hey, Karut, nice to see ya. Now, this was last night's stream. Oh, guess what? More of the object source lighting. This is a little bit different type here. This is more of an indirect sort of off-camera light source. This is a little bit more on-camera because, boom, you see the light source right there. There's a little difference between the two, even though the philosophies are very similar. Thank you so much, Arid. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And again, for all the raiders that know Kathy, she's there in the chat. If you just want to wave hello very quickly while she's hanging out there, just trying to get back to sleep, which I'm sure she hopes happens right quick again because of daylight savings time. Yikes. So Bithron, is he? I know there's he can be well, he's the necromancer, right, in the Dol-guldur legendary legion there. But I know there's the regular Mordor army or Barad-dûr army, but is there like a Barad-dûr legendary legion that he can be in where it really does restrict the other things that can be with him? Because I know again you can just have him sort of in a regular Mordor army. But yeah, I gotta make some Barad-dûr Blackguard. And then, of course, we have the Great Beasts of Golgoroth. We have a couple of those. I gotta actually get those based. And they're gonna go on the same size base as that Cave Drake over there. And we want to do the whole kind of glowy lava thing for them, too. So he's there and in Mordor, yep. Now, I will do another one of these. I want to do some painted backdrop for him. Because, oh, wait a minute. Holy smokes, how in the world have I been forgetting this opportunity right here? Jeez Louise. Look at that. There we go. See that? Holy smokes, how in the world could I forget this? We painted this thing on stream. Do we have another one? Oh, wait. Time out. Oh, look at that. There you go. It's like, check that out. 2 towers, 2 schmowers, man. That's a tower. That other thing, it's like a post with rocks. That's a tower. Oh, and check out my buddy over there. I just call him Doom. Holy smokes! How in the world could I forget to utilize those for my puppet shows? My goodness. Oh man, oh man. Well, better late than never. Better late than never. I'm glad I thought of that though, because gee whiz. We got not one but 2 paintings of Mordor / Barad-dûr, and somehow they do not appear with Sauron in a puppet show. What in the world is going on here? Yeah, my goodness. No problem, Karu. No problem. I know we could all definitely use a little bit more of that, right? For sure. And of course, the Silly Marillion is just the perfect thing. Yes, the Silly Marillion. We're adding another character to our cast of the Silly Marillion. Hey, Chris, nice to see you back. How the heck are you doing? So Chris, I think you were able to see a good chunk of the Cave Drake being painted, right? I don't know if you were able to see the entire thing. Thanks, Bithron. Thanks for clipping that one. Boy, I wish I could watch that one just right now, just for to get another laugh myself. But yeah, I gotta watch me that. That's gonna be hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Well, that's good, Chris. I mean, it was It was so much fun. I knew it was going to be. I knew that was really going to be a blast. And of course, well, we got that great beast of Golgoroth. He's ready to go. He's even primed. I just got to build him a base as I make some more of my lighter orange there. Because we would have the great beast of Golgoroth and the 10 orcs that go inside. So that is going to be quite the massive piece there. I'm not sure what I might do is either paint the Howdah and the orcs all together. I put the orcs in the Howdah, or I'm not quite sure how that's going to go. I have to figure out exactly whose orcs I was going to use. Am I going to use some of the Kurzlik orcs, or maybe some of the printing goes that were on? I think the Kurzlik orcs are a little bit smaller though, so we might use some of those. Alright, Doji, have yourself a good one. Thanks so much. Happy Sunday to you. And again, just to say goodbye to Kathy on the way out. So yeah, Chris, we actually just did a fun little puppet show with Sauron here, and our painted backdrops of Mordor and Barad-dûr and such. That was well worth it. I have actually painted the old metal version of this a couple of times in the past. Of course, those times, 1 hour 46 minutes. That's all this has taken. Seriously, this is 1 hour 46 minutes. That is all. It sure didn't take that little amount of time back in the last time I painted it. It's not like it took days and days and days, but it sure as heck took longer than 1 hour 46 minutes. That's the wonder of the oil paints, of course. The majestic wonder of the oil paints. Now, I think we could get some of this orange over here on these bits now. Okay, look, I'm holding this brush. It is seriously closer to the back of the brush than the front of the brush. But yeah, we have all this control, don't we? So yeah, Chris, he's got it right over here. Right there on that finger. And here's, of course, the other bits to go with them. A Isildur, an Elendil right there. So there's your broken sword. So Kathy has she just reminded me. She's used the throat lunge. I am going to also grab one of these too. So 1 second here. Thanks for reminding me. And everybody say good night. So yeah, it's gonna be 1 a.m. for a while. Thank you so much. And we will definitely take Kathy's advice. We will not do this for too long and strain the voice. There we go. Look at this. Again, that's why we chose this guy, so that we could sort of get in and out a little bit quicker. Not quite like the 5-hour stream of last night, but then that was a cave drake. Yeah, let's get some of our lighter orange here. This that would have been difficult to do about an hour ago or so, because the paint, remember we talked about letting the paint set. That's what we've been doing there. So thanks again, everybody, for saying hello to Kathy. I really do appreciate that, especially when she's trying to get back to sleep and such. It's always nice when she can just say hello to all the good folks here in the chat. Chris, it's so much fun, and that is just tree bark. That's all it is. Just some hot glue, some tree bark, and poof. You got yourself some lava, you got yourself some Dark Lord, ready to stomp on some pesky elves and men of Numenor. Or maybe some hobbitses, who knows. Let me come back around here and also get a couple of these areas back here. Like so. And again, we're using, for the most part, our homemade fluorescent oil paint. And that might be, we might be getting too far into the yellow there, so I'm going to back off just a bit more towards the orange here. Even though it is metal, it's also further away from the lava light source, so maybe we'll back it off just a smidge here. So I know that the Sauron-led armies, I mean, they can be really tough in some scenarios, but basically, in some of those games that end when whatever is at 25% or something like that, just keep in mind that the Mordor army, it basically counts as 100% as long as Sauron is out there. So you basically have to kill Sauron to be able to get that game to reach a certain ending point. Now that can also work as a negative for the Mordor army, especially if they're sitting on all these objectives and the stupid game won't end because Sauron won't die. Of course, when I get to do my stuff, I'm just not going to be using the regular scenarios. Seen them too many times. Oh, no problem there, Arid. Again, I hope that the stream was fantastic, and we'll see you in a bit. And everybody, please give Aridican Life a follow if you can. I think Arid's already done the Pinstagram post, the obligatory Pinstagram post. And of course, Chris, I don't know if you've seen again all the Last Alliance stuff we painted. What, about 3 weeks ago? I think 3-ish weeks we painted these guys ago. And we're going to also be doing the Elves of the Last Alliance. So we're doing a whole Barad-dûr army. Elves of the Last Alliance, just a whole Second Age thing. My Great Beast of Golgoroth is also going to get the lava treatment too. And that is gigantic. See you later there, Grand Oracle. So Grand Oracle, hopefully we'll see you on Monday, and I'm planning on it being an Armada Monday. So hopefully we see you then. You know what? I think I'll still let a little bit of the orange work its way down there. So yeah, Chris, I think we painted up, and of course I actually have more of just the regular Numies too. So there you go. Again, the same principle here. So this is another one of our Numenorian. This is a 3D print from Davale. So we had a blast printing out those. I've got some more archers, some more Numenorian archers that I printed out. We'll get those stuck on some bases right quick. And then we will I'll try painting up some more of those lads on stream. See, right here, not going to do the orangey stuff because it's pointed that way. I will try to get a little bit more of that down here, though. Maybe even a bit more of that on this piece that goes across. Oh, and certainly here, yeah. Again, we've kind of backed away from the yellow, gone more to the orange. Again, look where my hand is on this brush. Nowhere near that metal ferrule because we want to have the control. We want to have the control over this. Same here. Again, we're going to let that little bit of orange get there. Maybe this needs more thinner. Could need less, but here, let's do the more thinner, and yeah, see, that's what it took. Sometimes the miniature itself will tell you, do I need to go thinner, do I need to go a little bit thicker, that sort of thing. But we still need another touch right there. There we go. Again, now this is 1 hour 55 minutes of object source lighting goodness. Maybe not as much of the more towards the orange here on the cloth. And again, do we do a textured cloth? Yay or nay? Yay or nay? There's just a part of me that says, I don't know. I know that the textured cloth, that is quite the rage today. That's what all the cool kids are doing, but I don't know. Not sure yet. Don't have to decide that right now anyways. I do think I want to get a little bit more orange here. Now, one thing I am going to have to do after the stream is I've got a build plate set up of 5 texture rollers. 5 different texture rollers. And I'm going to see if I can print those out. It's a 7-hour, actually it's almost an 8-hour print or something like that, but it's going to be overnight. And 2 of those rollers are supposed to be roof tiles. So I'm not quite sure how that's going to play out. That would be really nifty, especially for a Gondolian terrain instead of having to cut up all those cereal boxes. It would be very nice if I could just roll out some roofs, basically. Yeah, Bithron, it's I mean, his tailor would certainly be able to hide any stitching and stuff like that, wouldn't he? Wouldn't you say so? Yeah, Sauron's got a better tailor than that. Again, sticking with this kind of orangey color here. You know what, maybe that whole panel should catch a little bit more of that light. Maybe a little more orange here. Now the ultimate thing for I challenge any digital sculptor out there to sculpt Grand. I challenge you to do it, because if I can sculpt that physically sculpt Grand, you can do that digitally. There you go. I think that base is 26 inches by 14 or something like that. That's all made out of Sculpey clay. Obviously, I would do that differently now. I would use much more epoxy sculpt, tin foil, wood, you name it. Yeah, I wouldn't be using all Sculpey, but that is the Grand. We sculpted the dinosaurs, which are actually the great beasts of Gogoroth. We sculpted Grand itself. So yeah, that was, if I can sculpt that by hand, certainly one of our digital sculpting friends can. I'm going to have to issue some challenges. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start sending those pictures to a few of our digital sculptor friends and say, all right, I challenge you to sculpt Grand. Again, if I can do this out of Sculpey and well, basically just Sculpey, then you can do it. For sure, you can do that digitally. So thank you so much, Armored Wolf, for posting a link to the Patreon page. Again, we showed you the figure that we just posted to the Patreon page. That was our CA Sculpts. Speaking of larger prints, there you go. That was part 3 of a 3-part series. The marble there, and you can see the marble on the back there too. That's not sculpted in, we just painted that on. Again, sticking with the orange here. Thank you so much, Marzipan. That's going to make me hungry. That is going to make me hungry. It's like, you thought the Balrog was going to be a problem, huh? It's like, yeah. It's like, dude, why did you come with air? You know this was a bad idea to come to the Black Gate. It's like, well, they did give me a new stick. Oh, that's right, and they gave you a white robe, too. That's really going to do you good when I pop you in the head with this mace. And that's poor Gandalf right there. Thank you so much, Marzipan, for that follow. Appreciate that. That immediately has me thinking about all kinds of tasty things that could be baked. Lots of tasty uses for marzipan. I think we'll throw a little bit more. Yeah, let's get a little more orange on that too. Why not? What about this? What about down here? Let's throw a little bit more of our orange here. Some over here. And now I also have to start thinking about some of the lights on that robe, and we were doing stuff like brilliant yellow pale, maybe brown matter. Let me see what this is gonna do. This could be, because the Van Dyke brown was just too much of a gray. What's that gonna? Okay, that's a little bit less of a gray there. And then we'll take our blending brush and do our usual thing there. Thank you so much, Bitron. Appreciate that. Sorry that sorry there's a lot of clips happening tonight. I think we've already had about 4 or 5 of those. But we appreciate the follows, of course. But not every clip is because of a follow. That's right, I forgot. Forgot that Denethor also generated a clip there. Alright, so see we're using the blending brush here. Look, just a line. See a little tap, tap, tap here. Turns that into a shape, doesn't it? See where we don't need hashtag no layers? Hashtag no layers. Hey there, Luminous. Nice to see you again, Luminous. I don't know if you're getting the snow that we're getting here. So Luminous, yeah, I've got those texture rollers. I think you just must have heard me say that. Wish me luck, because those are solid, and I mean they're gonna be kind of heavy. Now obviously they're not on any kind of support. They're just gonna be directly to the build plate, but they're texture rollers. I can actually quite literally grab those things and pry them off of there, because they're, well, they better not be fragile, right, Luminous? Bithron, that's kind of a, well, I guess that's a nice problem to have, that you find that you have the figures in hand, and now you have to kind of decide, all right, well, what do I want to base first? I'm just glad you finally got those things. I know you were really wanting those in your hands, actually, for quite some time. Glad you have them now. So, well, I know Megan was in here for a while. And Luminous, I hope that you had yourself a good Saturday. And hope everybody had a good Saturday. And of course, and everybody enjoy your daylight savings time. Yikes. Fine, we're going to do that too. We'll do that. Where's my blending brush here? A little bit of tap, tap, tap. And you can see how it's... You can even see it mixing with some of the indigo there. Well, Bithron, hopefully the MDF stuff can be made very quickly for you, so you don't get too slowed down in your production there. Because I know once you get your production line ramped up, it gets a moving. Ooh, this is metal too. I don't forget that. Again, hashtag no layers. I'm just going to chuck this in over here. Take a blending brush to it. Like so. Arid, it's so funny. There's basically a... I mean, it wasn't really a new... I guess you could call it a news program. But One of them lived in Arizona, and they said that was one of their favorite things about Arizona, is they didn't have to deal with that there. And that was one of the more difficult things for them to get used to when they moved away from Arizona. Because yeah, this is like Kathy said, this is the longest 1 at 1 a.m. ever. Yikes. That's oh well. Because it's not like we ever get the shortage on sleep ever here. Yeah, not like that ever happens. What do we got? Yeah, see what? You know what? I'm going to still do that. Because if I can get this little bit of this warmer gray up here, then some of the indigo and such that's in the armor there might stand out more. I also see that I'm going to have to come back in here. Speaking of indigo, this is our indigo Van Dyke Brown mix. And we want to tighten up a few edges here. Probably have to come back in with some of my mid-tone, that mix that we did, right, of the indigo and the, I think that was the radiant blue, yeah. Oh, hey there, Rathu. So, Rathu, now, I can't remember. I think you and I actually have had this conversation already, but I've spent way too many daylight savings times being awake to remember. If you guys, I know there's some locales there, right? They basically just kind of voted daylight savings time out of existence, where certain countries just said, nope, we're not playing this stupid game anymore, and they just said nope to daylight savings time. I'm not sure if that's all across or just some. So, Rathu, I hope that you're doing all right. Well, despite the the wonderful occasion of daylight savings time. So it's still there in Norway. Of course, that's right. We are still owed our own fjord, right? We're going to have a giant evil painting layer hidden in a fjord there, so that if we're in the middle of a game or something like that, or middle of a painting session, and anybody discovers us, we just fill the entire thing with mist. We just have those smoke machines going. The entire fjord is filled with smoke, so they have no idea that we're actually there painting miniatures and having fun. Because of course that's what we want to do, is we want to have our own secret evil painting layer. Why it has to be evil, I'm not sure, but that might be a requirement. If you're going to have a painting layer somewhere, it might just have to be evil. You know what? I'm going to throw a little bit of this radiant green out here, just to have a little something different. There we go. Same over here. Same over there. And of course, Rathu suggests an Erie for the Eagles, because of course, they love being somebody's personal Uber service. Just ask Gua here. It's like, yeah, so dude, glad that you were smart enough not to just take the ring and try and drop that into Mount Doom. He's like, dude, man, that guy jumps on my back again, he's going into Mount Doom. He's like, well, that works for me, that's cool. So again, Gua here is no fan of being turned into somebody's personal taxi right there. So if you're looking to take the Eagles to Mount Doom, well, I think you can forget about that plan. That's not going to work. I think you might want to be thinking about something else. Think of another mode of transportation to get there. I'm going to take some of the, here again, this is our that sort of mid-tone bluish gray mix. Trying to get this sorry, right up next to our orange there. We have to tighten up that line because it's supposed to be a metal rod, so it's got to be a nice clean cylinder there. So Arasu, should every floor have a bar, maybe a bar with a different seam? So maybe the first floor has more of a Middle Earth seam to it, than the second floor maybe has more of an Imperial Hive theme to it or something like that. Then the third floor tavern has another different theme to it. I mean, I did just an idea, just a thought. I mean, because you wouldn't want to have to go all the way back down to the first floor just to get refreshment. Hey Terry, nice to see you back. How you doing? Let me see the... Oh, that's Trixie. That's really... So the orange get all the way up there? I don't know. We'll say that it can. I think so. So Arda Michael says that the basement would be a mine, which... Oh, great. So I live in the basement, huh? Seriously? That's where I get to live? There's our cave drake from last night. Hey there, Nevag. Nice to see you. Well, Terry, now what were you able to lay your hands on as far as the oil paints there? I was looking at this here, and I'm going to say, okay, we'll do the orange there, but what about this? You could say that this part is facing down to where the lava is there. Again, I don't know. Not sure. So Neveg, nice to see you back. Hopefully your Sunday morning is glorious. Yeah, Terry, you can always, like you say, once you kind of get used to him, you can say, you know what, alright, look, it's time to get some Terra Rosa, and get me some Indigo. Okay, here, I'll maybe splurge and get this. Or these couple of colors. You don't have to do it all at once. That's kind of the nice part about it, right? So Arathu, as long as you have lots of room for storage cases or maybe display cases, there you go. So on the plus side, we'll be there in your painting studio. On the downside, you will have to move all of your stuff out of your bedroom, your kitchen, your living room, your dining room, and everywhere else. And that gets taken over by miniatures. So you want to get more. You want to get started on moving that stuff out of the way. So Terry, you cannot use the water. What you're going to want to get yourself is a very high quality odorless paint thinner like this. Now in the US, Mona Lisa, very easy to get. The primary brand is Speedball, actually. Those guys make a lot of calligraphy stuff and inks. But you want to get that high quality odorless thinner, and you're going to be using very, very little of it, as this will show you. Water bottle cap, that's all you got. That's all I need, because all I'm doing is using that to thin the paints just a wee bit here and there. So yes, water not going to be terribly effective with the oil paints. Now you don't want to get the cheap nasty thinners because, well, they're not gonna smell super fantabulous, and they just kind of break down the paint, and those are not things that you really want to have. So just spend a few shekels extra just to get yourself the nicer quality thinner. Now here we also needed to get some lighter areas there in between those bars, and we got to do the same thing on this side too. Hey B-Dub, nice to see you back. So yeah, that's the thing. Anything like bedrooms, kitchens, whatever. Obviously, those will have to be sacrificed to the greater good, which of course is miniature painting. So yeah, you'll have to dispense with those minor creature comforts. Those go away. Now we're gonna also here we got some of our brightest yellow to really try and zip that a little bit more. So yeah, you can always just sleep at your painting station. Right, you kind of work there till you pass out, and then you wake up and you start painting there again. No problem there, Arid. Actually, that's an activity that I really also wish to do tonight after the stream. Gonna get, oh yeah, here's again on the knuckle there. I don't know if we want that much yellow. Here, let me maybe see if I can split the difference here. Can't look at my hand is on this brush. See that? And yet still plenty of control, yes. Plenty of control. We'll do the same over here. Over there. Maybe touch more of the lighter orange on the, yeah, again, because that's close enough to where our light source is. Now over here we also need to really start to sharpen up some things. See, that would be too much of the yellow. We gotta back away here. Some more of the orange. I'm gonna say that this part also catches more of our firelight. I think yeah, we did come back in here with some of our darks, but we're gonna have to get some of our lightest lights though now on the back of his hand that are not actually firelight. There's some of our fast matte white. Let's continue right here along these pieces of armor. I'm sorry about that. And let me, a little less paint on the brush there. That was a little bit too much. Couple of touches of light right along this, and now here. Probably will go back in with my darkest dark and do one last final cleanup of the edges there. And there's a lot of segments on those metal bits. Now, of course, when we were painting the 2D painting of this, remember we had to paint all of those different segments in 2D form. That was pretty interesting. Again, you can check out any of the past sessions as highlights. I meant to do that today, was to try and update those collections, which is almost like a playlist, but for Twitch, where all you'd have to do is just put in a search parameter, say, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, 2D art, whatever, or Archvillain if you want to see Archvillain miniatures. So I think that might be something that we're doing tomorrow, possibly. Alright, this still needs to get a couple of the, again, those lighter highlights there somehow. This side too. The mace, what do we do with these, the second level? Yeah, I think we will try and get our not fire light on those. That, maybe this also might get sort of a in between. Some of it is the firelight source, and some of it is just not, or just a regular metal color there as we get further into the center of the mace. We need to do the same over here. Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're trying to wipe away all of the firelight stuff there. This one too, there's just so many, because you've got 6 points to the blade, and each point has 2 sides. So there's quite a bit of this to actually do here. Every time I turn around, it's I thought I did all of these. Now, this is also something that actually even happens with the acrylics too, is that generally the lighter paints, the more opaque stuff like this, is going to be a little bit on the thicker side, which means sometimes we have to go back and then we'll have to get some of our darker color and just sort of sharpen up the edges with that. That's what was missing there. So see, we have kind of this light, a dark, and then a light again. Same thing over here. We need something like that here, but maybe not as bright as that. Once again, we're going to make our brush here. Get as much leverage as possible by holding the brush as far back here as we can. Now I might go back. Remember we did the, was that the brown matter and brilliant yellow pale combination, I think? That worked really well here for the robe. Have to start thinking about, again, some of the ambient light that's going to hit these areas too. And again, there's your ring right there. Let's see if we can't maybe, I don't know, give that a little bit of a yellowish look instead of only the orange. And maybe, okay, it's all the way up here, yeah. There we go. So that should stand out a little bit more now. Might have to come back into that with the, well, maybe some of my lighter tones there, or darks, and strengthen some of the lines. Yeah, now you know what? I think we'll take away the orange light that's on his shoe there. Let me see if I can also throw something even lighter in the glowing eyes here. So we have brilliant yellow pale, maybe a touch of our fluoro yellow. See if we can get this down right here into his eye. Like, there we go, there's one. I'm gonna come back, refresh the brush. Should do that. This is gonna pick up the paint that's already there. Okay, we've got those. And maybe there's a few areas, that's a little too light, I think, but let me see if I can try and, yeah, see, that was too big of an area there. Catch a couple of bits of the chainmail. Just a few little bits and bobs here. They're gonna catch that brightest reflection type light here. Not everywhere. You know what, we probably should get this upper edge too. Yeah. Because those were not looking like separate armor plates. Now they do. I don't know if I can go any lighter on this. Oh, you know what I will do though? I think we'll go back and we're gonna take our black, just some black primer here. And that's also gonna help me to see just how much lighter or darker we might need to do with some of our lava stuff here. 1 second, let me try to make this so I can actually close it here. So still not quite able to close that. I'm just going to, again, throw some of this black Stynylrez primer on there. You see if we can get this stuff off of here. There we go. I think now we should be able to close that a little bit better. Needed to shake it up a little. And then we'll just throw some of this along the edge. So yeah, okay. I don't think I need to go that much lighter. Now that I actually have something to compare it to. Ultimately, I take the most expensive base rim painting material ever. That's the flat black, or the blackest black. That flat black stuff, again, the So Flat or whatever from Golden Acrylics. It's flat, but it is not as good as the Black 3.0. Definitely not. There is a significant difference between the two. Yeah, see that really changes how I see things like the lava and even this. Now that I actually have this to compare it to, this is why we work on the entire miniature all at once, right? We're not just painting Sauron's head. Why would we be painting just his head or just the mace when we have all of this lighting to do and all of this kind of comparison that we want to do, right? You can't do that if you're only painting one small part of the miniature. You have to paint it all at once. Again, I'm just going to grab me something to drink here. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Now, what I'm going to do is take that Van Dyke brown and we're going to do a little bit of semi-scorching along the edges here. Like this. Same over here. And this is also going to then magnify all of the source lighting underneath here. So this is just tree bark. We also did use our homemade texture paste there, which all it took to make the homemade texture paste was some tile grout and wood glue. That's it. That is all that was required. And that stuff works extremely well. Far better than I ever thought it would. So in my quest to try and create some separate panels here, I think we'll still have to come back with some of our latest stuff. Yeah, Rathu, I guess the reason why people do that is maybe they only have so much time, and I guess they want to be able to say, okay, I painted the face, or I painted this one part. It's sort of wanting to see some kind of completion along the way, I guess. But that really does slow things down, and you're probably going to have to end up going, oh, all right, well, now that I've got this painted, that looks way too light or way too dark. So yeah, that's the only thing we've been able to figure out at Rathu. Alright, well, surface tension. Yeah, again, it's now it's 3:12 in the morning here. So that was an incredibly long walk by surface tension painting there. Surface tension just walked the dog, I think probably all the way to the Orkney Islands or something like that, and back again. So surface tension did quite the long walk with the dog there. So surface tension took the dog all the way up to the Orkney Islands just to do a little bit of archaeological tourism there. Maybe stopped along the way at Edinburgh on the way back or something on that little jaunt. Because yes, now it is 3:12 in the morning here, and normally surface tension is walking the hound more like at about 1:15 or so, or maybe 1:20. That's our time. So surface tension painting, and just to be in all full honesty, made some toast. And Bithron, I think you might have a lot of steps on your whatever those step monitors are, but like you say, you would be those legs might be just a wee bit tired. Because I don't know exactly what that distance would be from Wales to the Orkney Islands, but I'm guessing somewhere in the potentially between 390 and 415 miles. Now, Rathu does point out, and how many times have we talked about it, water is very tense. The oils, the reason why those do really well with the capillary action is because the oils do not have that sort of surface tension. But of course, acrylics are very tense, very nervous, so that's why you don't need boats. You can just walk across the water. And of course, dogs, they can just walk across the water too, especially when they've gotten some of the toast. Do we want to? What the heck? We'll just draw a couple little dots of light out here. So, okay, I'm going to do some lighter orange here. Let me get a little bit more of my... There we go. There's some more fluoro yellow. Let me see. Let's bring in some more stuff here. And we're going to welcome in Gerald Chan. Thank you so much. We're going to welcome our newest little hobbit. And Gandalf says, ooh, somehow thought I was headed to Lothlorien. It's like, dude, man, you better lay off the pipe. You have no idea where you are, do you? It's like, I think I'm somewhere I don't want to be. It's like, I wouldn't head back to Rivendell. Elrond's going to have some speaks with you about all those wild parties you've been throwing. Uh-oh. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. And again, at some point we will, we'll be painting an Elrond figure, of course, because, Last Alliance armies, right? We're definitely going to have an Elrond as part of that. He is, of course, the grumpiest elf in all of Middle-earth. Because, again, Gandalf invites all of his weird friends to Rivendell all the time. Next thing you know, the pipeweed comes out and turns into a rave. Let's throw a little bit of our lighter yellowish orange back here. Tiny smidge of that, and here too. Yeah. Just a smidge there, some right there. A little bit on the ends of these. That's going to actually need some of our dark, and same thing here too. I think we're going to have to restore some of our dark, but maybe with our not Fanchon red. That is our Naphthol red. Some of the Van Dyke brown. Okay, that's a little better. That was a little ragged looking right there, and then some of these. These should be individual little segments here, not big old lines like that. an STL of a Skaven from Advanced Hero Quest. Surface tension, that I'm actually, believe it or not, that is a cool thing on all kinds of levels. Because, now I don't know if you have pictures of the very first miniatures. It'd be nice if you still had the first miniature. We don't have stuff like that ourselves. But boy, to sort of, now that it's an STL, you could sort of paint it exactly almost like the same color scheme that you did, but it'll be so much more advanced now. And then you could sort of maybe even try it again, but then really go all out with all the new techniques that you know, basing wise and everything else. So yes, as I look over at the time, and it's suddenly 3:18. Holy smokes! And again, this is still, in my time, this is still 2 hours and 35 minutes painting this here. Yeah, surface tension. Unfortunately, right, it's not like you were documenting miniature painting at the time was probably your priority concern. I'm gonna say that really wasn't like for most of us. Yeah, Thranduil, he pretty much walks around saying that's a bad idea, that's a bad idea, and it turns out to be a bad idea. He's probably the grumpiest elf in Middle Earth because he says "I told you so" more often than any other creature in all of Middle Earth. How many times have I told you? Yeah, surface tension, there's I did something that was sort of a near approximation to that. It was kind of like a Blood Bowl ogre figure, and I sort of tried to paint it in the similar color scheme to one that I actually had sculpted way back in the day. Okay, here, back to our, wow, let's actually get a little violet in there now. It's a whole nother area. That never did get any of the bluish gray. Same thing here, we have a lot of the much lighter gray where the white was mixed in. But here we're going to try and see if we can't sneak in a little bit of the blue. Oh boy, let me see if I can go a smidge lighter than that over here. Can you see what we're doing? I think so. Yeah, and you can see it just mixes. Hashtag no layers, right? I just took a lighter color and just chucked it on there. These guys here, we'll do something like this. We'll take that teensy bit of indigo there. Because now this is not the darkest or it's sort of a in between. Because what we have here is a bunch of really light areas, and then a bunch of really dark areas, and pretty much Zippo in between that, and that's not really ideal. Here, let's simplify this. We've got we sort of complexified this area a little bit too much. Get more of the orange. Let's get a little bit of the yellow in there. That was starting to get a little peachy. That's our fluorescent yellow, fluorescent orange. And yes, those are oil paints. We've made our own metallic oil paints. We've done tons of TMM with the oils. And I'm hoping to be able to do some more of the TMM stuff here again on the channel soon. I'll never forget the one time when someone said, "Well, you can't do true metallic metals in oils," and we said, "Really?" And then set out to show that, oh yes, indeed, you most certainly can. I mean, we got a bunch of examples here. We've got this from Mini Monster Mayhem, and of course we did all of our Gondalorians, so that is also all done with metallic oils. Same thing here. Even this is metallic oils. So, yep, you can do all kinds of nifty stuff with the oil, but there is pretty much nothing you can't do. Gonna throw in a little more of our, again, the lighter orange down here. Same here. Now this, that's a lot of dark there. Let me see if I can't just bring in, now that all this has had a chance to set for a while, now I can sort of come back with my floral, just almost straight up floral orange here. And it's, yeah, see, that's that wouldn't have done much there earlier. Now it can't be too thin. It's to be almost like a semi-dry brush here. So sometimes that's why I always recommend, if you're new to the oils, do things that don't have a lot of tiny details on them. Even here we go. So see, even something like this, where it's a lot of big surfaces, right, where you could really use things like the filbert brushes, the bigger brushes, plop the paint on there, push it around, instead of trying to do, well, you know, something like this. Maybe something like this, probably not the first piece that you want to do in oils. Maybe save that for when you've got again, a little bit more of the oil painted miniatures under the belt there. But always be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself. And it's just kind of be easy on yourself too. Don't be too hard on yourself. You do want it to be fun, of course. And sometimes just the easier pathway to success is a good one to take. Because there's definitely miniatures, especially again, if you're newer to the oil painting, they're going to be tough for you. There will be figures that, no doubt about it, will be much more of a struggle, or at least not give you a chance to really utilize the oils in that most fully advantageous way. Alright, yeah, see, I'm lying now. They have a little bit more of the orange around it. Arid has returned. Again, everybody please give Arid a Can Life a follow too. Yeah, this like surface tension was painting. Now, as painting was saying, that was the same for me. When I first started using the oils on the miniatures, I almost thought, well, all I can really do is a lot of the bulk work. I'll do the bulk work with the oils, and then I'll do all the detail stuff after it dries with the acrylics. And then there was one set of commission figures where there was no waiting. They just had to all be painted with the oils start to finish. And that's when I realized that the oils are actually, when you've got them figured out, when you've used them enough, that actually makes doing the detail areas easier, because the oils are, well, you can get them much thinner than you can acrylics, because, well, oils, they don't have surface tension like the acrylics do. Now, I've noticed here, this is another area where we need to get our brown matter mix into here. Let's do that. Here, some brown matter on the cloak here to separate that from the ground. Yeah, that just got way too much of the same gray here as the ground. And maybe a little bit more of the brown matter, actually. So it's not quite so light. Yeah, this all ended up being very gray. Alright, we've shifted away from that. Now, let me see if I can take, again, the Van Dyke Brown here, some of the indigo, and now we'll do a little bit of separation between the color. There we go. But now we're going to darken this up to brown matter mixed with the... There we go. So that is a little bit darker now, but it also still has more of that brownish color to it, less of the gray. That was way too much neutral gray in one spot there. So that's it's like surface tension was saying, that the critical thing, right? None of this here, none of this death grip on the brush. I've seen people holding brushes like this. So, oh man, that's gotta hurt. I mean, it's almost like you're trying to dig your nails into your hand there. So, wow, man, that can't be comfortable. Which is why, again, we just caress the brush. We do not crush the brush. That's in the book of Wappel. We don't need a reminder on that chapter. Alright, now, see, we've got a different color mid-tone there that's got more of the yellow in it. That's going to separate from all this more neutral gray. I thought something was missing down here. I was like, what the heck happened to all of his cloak? Now, Bithron has suggested we do a film noir. And, of course, object source lighting stuff is just fantastic for film noir because watch this. Yeah, there's lighting on there. Does it really look like object source lighting? It kind of looks like just regular normal lights and darks, doesn't it? Let's make that return, shall we? Look at this. That's the color. It's not so much the light and the dark, it's the color. You've got all this orange here, very intense orange. Even here where you have light, that's still very non-saturated. All these other things non-saturated. This stuff, though, not only is it very warm, but also very saturated. Yeah, Arathu, it's so I guess if you do live in the heart of vampire country, then maybe that's why you might be holding the brush that way. And again, you know, everybody's got to live somewhere. Sometimes maybe you'll live a little bit closer to the vampires than everybody else. Now let's throw a little bit more of our... Again, that's the brilliant yellow pale. Now we don't want to go too light with it. But this, again, more of a bluish gray. This is more of a reddish gray right here. So we have tale of two different grays. Again, that's a color differential. That's not really a light and dark differential. So yeah, Bithron, thanks. I don't even did we even do no, I'm not sure we even did an early film noir. So thanks, thank you very much. Appreciate that. I thought we had, but no, I think that was the Cave Drake. And then maybe we did do a super early film noir here. And by so early, I meant there was like, oh yeah, there was one. It was very early, but there was practically nothing on here. So that was a perfect time for it. So kind of working a little bit more of the brown matter into here. We have not forgotten our blending brushes. So when people say, well, why aren't we seeing the brush strokes on yours? There's several reasons, but one of them is the blending brush. Because you do reach a certain point, now, I mean, we're 3 hours, 16 minutes in here, you can't actually start to do stuff that we call just sort of buffing out those brush strokes, where you take a blending brush with no paint and you kind of do a little tap, tap, tap. And that actually does quite literally smooth out the brush strokes. Doesn't mess with your color, just gets rid of those brush strokes. Karoo, actually, I'm really hoping to find a dragon. Well, I'm sure I have actually a dragon STL that I can print. That could be printed up at the Smaug size. The only really large, super sized dragon type thing I painted. Now this, of course, was before trying to film stuff. That was that 5-headed Tiamat type thing from that Reaper made, the Reaper Bones version of that. And that was that's probably about Smaug sized. Now, obviously, to be able to stream that or film that, we're going to have our new area first before that happens, because there ain't enough space on here. But if I can find, well, also too, I have to get the Mono X going. That's another minor detail. But once those things happen, it would be really cool to definitely, and then do the whole base, right? Do all the treasure stuff on there, coin after coin after coin, and all the gems and the goblets and all that kind of stuff. And talk about all the crazy, the gems glowing and everything. Yeah, crew, I can never remember what size base Smaug goes on. I've seen him, what is it, Articon and some of the other Aussie tournaments there. You'll see Smaug at those tournaments. I mean, basically, Smaug is an army of one, which means that, well, if they're using the regular scenarios, well, you won't have too much success at a tournament, I guess, but it really is more for your typical sort of friendly type games. I certainly, it would be very fun to have Smaug in a battle report of some kind. I think that would be a blast.